Texans faced other challenges as well. Its population was swelling and moving and changing. In 1920, about 4.6 million people called Texas home, a 20% increase from 1910. Texans also moved to town. They left their isolated farms and ranches and moved to Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, and Fort Worth. Counties in the heart of Texas lost families who left for new opportunities elsewhere. Texans were also more mobile in general. The first car came to the state more than 20 years before, but by the 1920s, Ford Model T vehicles and others like them, as well as electric trolleys in town, had nearly eliminated horse-drawn transportation. Livery stables, blacksmiths, and farriers gave way to car dealerships, auto repair mechanics, and gas stations. There were other reasons people moved to town in the 1920s and later. The Texas cotton industry unraveled. At first, things had looked promising, and cotton was selling for good money. There was a cotton rush where farmers put all the acres they could into cultivation, helped along by gasoline-powered tractors. The sharecropping system provided a steady labor supply, too. Boll weevils stopped some of the expansion, but farmers just made new farms further out in West Texas and leapfrogged the regions with the biggest problems. The cotton industry moved onto the high plains and into the rolling plains in the 1920s. Then, cotton prices collapsed. Farmers doubled the acreage they planted to try and make up the difference, but prices remained low. By 1930, fully 60% of Texas cotton farmers were operated by renters and not owners. Some just quit altogether. They left the fields and headed to town to try their luck. The troubles plaguing agriculture also led many African Americans to the cities. This great Texas migration mirrored that occurring in New York, Detroit, and Chicago. As elsewhere, this movement fostered the growth of vibrant urban communities of color in Texas cities. There was another interesting demographic trend. The Revolution of 1910 generated a spike in immigration from Mexico. Within 20 years of Francisco Madero's overthrow of Porfirio Diaz, Texans with Mexican heritage made up 12% of the overall state population, up from less than half that number just a few years before. What did these new Texans do? Well, they grew cotton, fueling the spread of that crop to South and West Texas, and landowners used this new labor to try to make ends meet. These newcomers were often migrant populations. They moved from farm to farm, field to field, season by season. Some cotton farmers lost their workers, and sometimes their fields, to the oil industry. On July 16, 1920, drillers near the Mitchell County town of Westbrook brought in a well, the Abrams No. 1. This discovery hinted that the long, lonely stretches of West Texas might actually lay atop a sea of oil. The following year, wildcatters brought in the Russell No. 1 in Loving County, still one of the lowest populated expanses in Texas. Then, on May 28, 1923, a crew brought in the Santa Rita No. 1 near the tiny town of Big Lake in Reagan County. These wells define the edges of what would become known as the Permian Basin. Soon, the oil rush was on. While landmen, roughnecks, and wildcatters streamed into West Texas, A man named Columbus Marion Joyner looked for oil around Henderson in Rusk County. He had made a lot of money producing oil in Oklahoma, and on October 3, 1930, he brought in his first successful Texas well, the Daisy Bradford No. 3, and discovered the largest oil deposit on Earth up to that time. California and Oklahoma still produced more oil than Texas, but that lead would not last much longer. Texas during this period also became the 5th largest state in the country, behind California, New York, Pennsylvania, and Illinois.